beast stalker, giant stalker, dragon stalker, crypt stalker, demon stalker, rift stalker, grown stalker, crypt stalker, scourge stalker, wind runner. I'm a pony, elite skill hunter, a death dealer, a life stealer. That's just the cost of being awesome.
Well, welcome to episode 256 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I am Darbkrew from thebrewhall.com and at the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from Thrill of the Wild and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
And I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast, Blizzard Watch, and Bendak WoW on Twitter.
All right, today is Sunday, March the 12th, 2017, and we are broadcasting live on twitch.tv, and you can participate in the live chat room where our lovely moderator, Alexander, is there to take your questions. And welcome to everyone in the chat room who, maybe realize that in some parts of the country, at least here in America, we moved the clocks forward 1 hour. So all the hosts, we managed to show up here on time, and thanks to everyone else who caught that. And anyone who, so would they be coming in? See, this is where I get confused, right? So anyone who's missing it, are they going to be where they here like an hour ago, or I guess they'll be here like they'll arrive just
an hour from now. Yeah,
an hour from now they'll be arriving if they didn't really figure out we pushed things forward a bit, but we did, and we're all sleep deprived at least.
Yeah, so I completely forgot about daylight savings or whatever it is, and was up a little bit late last night, just in kind of a black hole of YouTube, and then I looked down at my computer screen, and I had completely lost an hour and had no idea what was going on, and I thought I had just stared at YouTube for an extra hour until 3 a.m.
Right, and no, just this stupid little thing we do. Yeah, I was the same way. It was about 12:30 last night, and I was thinking this is good, and I had to get up early today too for something this morning, and I was thinking this is good. Should be able to get 8 hours of sleep nonetheless. And then I realized, wait a minute, we're supposed to move the clocks ahead, and I realized, oh gosh. So instead of going to bed at 12:30, it was 1:30. So
I don't know if it's any better, but I just woke up, so
good job. That is
12 hours of sleep. I am ready.
So you're ready. I guess we're ready. I have no idea what we're going to talk about today. Though, how did last show go? I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I think you guys had Shoot on to talk about his, primarily his Archimond kill.
Yeah.
Mostly in other things he's been up to. But I assume that went well, and that was good.
It was a lot of fun, and got some inside soloer information. There's also, I guess there's I might forget. I think he's Korean, another hunter soloer who's been putting up YouTube videos of all the Mythic Plus that I didn't know about. So Shoot pointed that out to us, and so it's been fun to catch up with that guy also and see all the videos he's putting out.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and it's good to get. It's nice to see that there are other people out there, right, sort of popping up. I think Delirium, you did a post on your site with some of the new hunter tools and things of people that maybe we hadn't quite heard of or hadn't caught everyone's attention, or maybe some of our listeners know more about them than we had. But hunting is still a thing, and it's still a very strong community, and there are a lot of people out there. They're doing things like soloing and stuff like that, and it's good to see that the things are sort of continuing. I don't think any other class, as I said, manages to pull this off like we do.
Yeah, it's easy to get kind of caught up thinking, the Icy Veins is the only guide out there, and there's no other hunter material. But it looks like there's still a pretty good amount of stuff being going out, especially if you include YouTube in your in the stuff you look at, not just blogs so much anymore, but there's still a good bit of content.
And speaking of hunting, so while I was away, so the reason I wasn't on the show is I was actually away on vacation, and I kind of inadvertently got a chance to do a little bit of hunting while I was away on vacation. So I guess it's sort of officially a hunter. So one of the things I was doing, we went to the Caribbean, which is nice, and I just got my diving certification back in November. So I wanted to get a few more dives under my belt so I could do more diving later. So one of these things that I signed up for was it was billed as this lionfish encounter. And for those who don't know, in the Caribbean, lionfish they're an invasive species. They're not native to the Caribbean, and they think they were perhaps introduced many years ago, probably by humans, people that maybe had them in aquariums and things like that, and then just got tired of them, and so they would just release them into the wilds, into the ocean, and then they've because they're not native to the Caribbean, they have no natural predators. There's nothing there to eat them, and then what they do is they eat all these juvenile fish, which keep the coral clean and healthy. So they're contributing to like the deterioration of the coral down there. So one of the ways they handle them is they go out hunting them, and they'll go and kill them. So that's what this excursion was. And I thought I was just going to be on a dive and, looking at coral and watching these dive masters go and kill lionfish, hunt and kill lionfish. When I got to the dock, they were loading a bunch of equipment on the boat, little traps and things, and they had some spears. So I looked at the dive person and I said, "Hey, so when do I get my spear?" And I was completely joking, right? And she goes, "Oh, you'll get that on the boat, and I'll explain how this is all going to work in a minute." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Because this was like my 13th dive, so I'm still learning how just to not drown when I'm underneath the water. So, going out there with a spear and, hunting fish was way out of my league. But I did it, yeah. So, I mean, we were diving. We were about 60 feet down, and dive mat person waves me over, and she points to the fish, and she hands me the spear, and I'm just breathing in and out, just hovering over it, and I took a good aim. I was trying to channel like my inner Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction, thinking that little thing he recites, the path of the righteous, and
Okay.
I let her rip, and I completely missed.
Yeah, if you practiced with your polearm as a survival hunter more often, you would have got that no problem.
Exactly.
Right,
You have to build up your weapon proficiency.
Got to at least finish that.
Exactly.
Before you start trying to kill lionfish.
Well, luckily though, they're not too smart, and it didn't really move very far from where it originally was. So it was sort of very poorly trying to hide behind a rock. So I actually got another shot at it. So this time I just, kind of calmed down a little bit, did my, a little bit more deep breathing. And then I channeled my other Samuel L. Jackson, which was, I am sick and tired of these mother bleeping lionfish on this mother bleeping reef. And I pulled back and I bullseye and nailed it. So I did actually get my lionfish kill. So I was very happy about that.
Oh, I bet I know what the problem was. You weren't hit capped.
So maybe not. I don't know. But I guess that makes me a survival hunter. I have to think. I mean, because technically that was a melee weapon, although I was not stabbing it per se. And since I haven't actually played survival yet at all this expansion, I don't know. Do you get to throw your weapon at all? I mean, do you impale people with it, or you just kind of whack them on the head?
Was there a chain attached to your spear that you pulled yourself to the fish afterwards?
There was not a chain. However, there was like an elastic band on the end of it.
Actually,
so I would hold it in my one hand and then use my thumb to stretch the elastic real tight, and then I would just release it, and then it would just let it fly. And I'm definitely in melee range of the fish, right? This isn't like doing this from a great distance.
So there's no dead zone.
Yeah, no dead zone.
So here's a question for you. If they ever made a water zone, or if you go back into the water zone, how would you, or how does harpoon work in the water? Have you tried it?
Oh yeah, it works the same. It pulls you through fast.
Okay, but do you target the ground? I thought you targeted the ground.
No, you target a creature, an ad.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm thinking the warrior
playing
hunt.
survival.
No, I have not played survival at all.
No, you only target a creature.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a little interesting in raids. Yeah, if we're switching, ads, I'm always the first one to get there. If we're going to a different spot because of a mechanic, I am the very last person to get there. Maybe a DK is just as slow, but
wait, didn't they give you back disengage?
Yeah, we have disengage. So if you talent into it.
Oh, you have to talent into it. Got it. This is how much
I know. Full-time survival?
No, I still mostly play an MM, but I play SV on anything that's not progression because it's so much more fun.
It just shows
I
how
still
much
haven't
I know
gotten
about...
decent relics for it though, so it's hard to compete with my, 920 weapon or whatever on MM.
Jeez, 920. All right, well.
Yeah, that seems.
Yeah, did you want to segue into the show notes with that?
Yeah, we could.
Oh,
one other quick thing. I saw this person. I think this is the right person in our chat room. Just a quick shout out and hello to one of our listeners, Liriana, who turns out I got this text message from my sister when I got back from vacation. She said she had worked with someone who played a hunter and was a big fan of the show. and so I said, well, what's her hunter's name? He said, Liriana, and I think I see her in the chat room today. So told my sister, well, I will give a shout out and say hello and thanks for listening all these years. And I don't know, the hunter name is very familiar. So we've probably even met. I mean, I think my sister mentioned today that Liriana, she's there in the chat room. So if you've attended BlizzCon, then yeah, chance and gone to any of the hunter meetups the last 2 years that we've probably met. And I apologize if I don't remember. But anyway, thanks as always for listening, and that's very cool. So that's one of those small world moments where someone listens to the show and kind of knows about it and actually works with my sister in real life. So just a cool little thing there. So now we can try and segue into the show. And I saw, Delirium, you put a note in here about stable slots and patch 7.2.
That wasn't me. I don't know who
was,
that was.
Oh, was it Bendak? Maybe someone added it in here.
Yeah.
It was not me. So, and it was prefaced with the word no, as in no stable slots in 7.2. And this was from Muffinus.
Crushing the dream.
You know what? But the fact that he specifically said not in 7.2 makes me think it is coming. Maybe 7.3.
7.2.5.
Or that.
And here's what I'm thinking too, because I don't remember, because he alluded to the fact that something was perhaps in the works, right, for additional stable slots in some manner. And my guess is maybe they're going to do something a little bit different than just additional slots. Maybe they're going to give us something similar to what they've done with mounts or pets or toys.
Then I have to collect them all.
And I don't know. That's just a guess. I mean, because I can't imagine it would be that much too hard just to add 5, 10 slots to our stables. I don't know how it works technically, of course, but so I would just guess maybe they're trying to do something a little different than just an additional, to just make more room the way they've traditionally done it. Otherwise, can't imagine it would be that challenging to do in the course of 7.2.
And so even with no new slots, we do have some new pets. We mentioned the Feathermanes last week, but looks like they found some new spirit beasts, perhaps.
Yeah, the people on Petopia are hunting all over the world, finding these new beasts. There's a bunch of new Feathermanes. Like one of the cool ones is Netherbeak. It's like a purple hippogriff, and he's like stealth, but he's flying way above Azuna. So you have to fly around and find him stealthed and then get him to the ground, and he hits really hard. It's a neat little challenge. They found the Wolfhawks, which they match our new class mounts. There's a few other ones that haven't been discovered, but yeah, there's some new spirit beasts too. There's a spirit beast raptor, which again is undiscovered as of yet, and there's a spirit beast griffin.
That sounds awesome.
That does sound cool. And so some of them you say there, and so so they know they're coming, what, just because of data mined information, but the people haven't figured out where they are yet on the PTR?
Yeah, like the Spirit Beast Raptor and the Griffin have both been data mined, and they're listed as tameable and everything, but they just haven't been found yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one, there's like a corrupted hippogriff. It's like got like fell effects coming out of its eyes and stuff like that. And that one's actually labeled as Elisan's pet. So that's a possible hint to where you could find it maybe, but that hasn't been discovered yet either.
Huh. Is Elisanda a hunter? I didn't even notice.
I don't know.
Well, she does have a zoo.
Oh yeah, good point. That's what we need for our stable slots. It's just a nice zoo like they've got in Nighthold.
Yeah, the Feathermanes are cool. Now, Bendak, have you gone to the PTR at all to tame any of these, or?
Yeah, I've tamed most of them. It's. I mean, there's a lot of new pets. Like, I don't know. It's too bad we don't have the new stable slots now because, I mean, what are you gonna give up to get some of these new ones? I mean, I definitely give up something to give up to get the new Spirit Beast, but I don't know how many Griffins I need or anything like that.
I know, and they're all cool looking too. I don't know how, and they're kind of big pets too. I'd imagine not giant, but you know they're good sized pets too. I mean, I'm just looking over at Petopia. Yeah, you see, the purple hippogriff is kind of cool. There's a nice looking blue one.
I'm excited
The
about
owl
the black
cats,
griffin.
the owl cats as well are those. People have been wanting to tame those from the get go. They look kind of neat. And then anything that matches a mount, I was always fun to have. Right, I always like riding around on a mount and having a corresponding pet out as well. That's always fun to do. So yeah, there's a lot, and wyverns too, I guess, are part of that. It looks like, yeah.
Hmm.
So I mean, and I guess it's always like that a little bit too when they introduce the new pets. I mean, at least for me, I would sort of feel like I want to have as many of the new ones as I can get, but I don't always use them. So I mean, I'm running out of room, and I've said this before of what I can clean out. I mean, it's getting to the point where there isn't really much that I feel like I can give up at this point, or I really want to give up. And I have a lot of the rare pets, which are not impossible to get, but some are still difficult to get, and I have no desire to go out and try and retame them later on, because they were hard enough to get in the first place. And I don't necessarily mean like Loquanahawk or something like that. Even some of those other ones, like that monkey in not Swamposaurus. Is it Swamposaurus? Yeah.
Yeah, with the hat.
Yeah, with the hat. Yeah, I think it's Fez is his name, like something like that. I use it occasionally, not all the time, but it's not something I would want to give up and then go back and get again later on.
Well, with the Darby's glyph, you kind of use all your pets now,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of neat. So
That is true. That's true. I mean, I suppose I've got some things from Miss Pandaria I can get rid of. Those Quillins. There was that rare Quillin that came in like 4 different colors. I think I've got all 4 of those colors. Like I could probably,
All right.
give up, a couple of those maybe.
Yeah, I already got rid of all but one.
But this is kind of neat. I mean, I like the fact that they're, and I haven't even tamed. Gosh, there's still all those mechanicals out there. So yeah, I mean, more. It's beyond just adding like a few slots. So yeah, like I said, it's almost feel like I need to at a minimum double the size of my stable. Because there's I haven't even gone into Siege of Orgrimmar to get the mechanical Scorpion. That's something that's on my list of things that I want to get at some point. I haven't done that. So yeah.
I've gotten all 4 of those, but I haven't actually tamed 2 of them. I just have the item in my bag because I don't have room to tame them. So if we do get more slots, then I can take that item and then tame them with that.
But yeah, so we'll see. So not in 7.2, maybe 7.3. So we'll be curious to see what they do. But I just got a feeling going back to that maybe they're going to try and do something where it'll be a little bit more permanent. Like I said, because pets are different though than mounts, right? I mean, in the sense that there's nothing to stop you from filling up your stable with like white polar bears,
Right. You can get more than one of the same.
Right.
Skin, you mean? Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know if they'll change it once you have it. It's just there, and you never have to go out and get it again. Maybe they could do something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, but hey, better that they introduce new pets and say, well, sorry guys, we know you don't have any room in your stable, so we're not going to introduce any new pets for a while. So,
right. Yeah.
So that would be the trade-off there. So one of the other things we were getting ready to talk about for 7.2 is changes to legendaries, and so a lot seems to be in the works here. One of the notes here we had was the legendary drop rate has been slightly increased for your first 3 legendaries. The first 3 have the same drop chance as the first did at the beginning of the expansion, and it says after those 3, the 4th and the last through the last all have the same drop chance, not including increases to bad luck protection. Is that in the game now, or is that's not a 7.2? That's live now, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually here when we had our last show. We just didn't get to talk about it. So.
Yeah, I thought I remember hearing. So I guess so once you get that 3rd one, then it's anybody's guess as to when you'll get the next and the next after that.
Yeah, and even that, if you have the general whatever not spec specific one that counts for every spec. So you kind of, if you have Cephus, Pridaz, and Roots of Shaldrasil, then all of your specs act as if you've already got 3. So it's only it's a pretty rare benefit, I think, because most people get at least 1 or 2 of those general ones in their first. Seems like almost everybody gets Cephus as their first. So.
No, I haven't got that. What do I have?
Oh.
I have the trinket though. I have Kil'jaeden's Burning Wish, which was my second one, and the other was the pants, the legs that have the healing effect.
Yeah,
are my 2.
So they did just this week put out a little announcement on the forums talking about changes to the throughput versus non-throughput bonuses, which are I would call DPS and utility bonuses, claiming that they're for the legendaries that don't have any way of giving a DPS increase, they're going to add secondary stats to it. So it'll have a greater pool of secondary stats. And then anything that does have a DPS change, but maybe isn't as exciting as the others, they want to buff those. So they're all similar. I mean, so far they haven't proven that this current team is capable of balancing anything. So who knows how this is actually going to work out. But if it does, it looks like they're really trying to make it so that we need to switch legendaries to get your best for each fight, rather than having one best in slot legendary and you can build the rest of your set around that.
So do we know if that third secondary stat is going to be different? Like if you already have haste and mastery, for example, is the third one going to be like crit or versatility, or is it going to add on to the haste or something like? I mean, do we have any?
Yeah,
idea?
they just announced it. I don't think these are available to see even on the PTR. So
okay,
they said it'll be in a soon patch, but I don't know when that patch is coming, or maybe it did already come and I just didn't notice it.
I'm sure it'll be a different stat, kind of like Pridaz.
I don't know if I like that, but I mean, hey, they did say that it wasn't supposed to be the optimal choice. It's just they were just trying to make up for
just make it a little closer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they mentioned they just want it to not be quite as disappointing when you get a bad one for your first legendary. There's a lot of people. I mean, it's just so disappointing when you see Cephus drop for one of the other lame ones.
Or anytime you don't get one of like the really, really good ones, like the top 2, you sort of feel disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but after you've got 3 or 4, it's not as big of a deal. When it's your first or your second, and especially I think that first one is just so demoralizing.
Oh my god, yeah. Tell me about it. I got the blasting wrists, the one where it increases blasting shot.
Oh,
it's terrible.
I kind of like that one.
Really?
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, okay, before they fixed it,
300 yards.
Yeah, but
30 yards.
But before they fixed it, it would go through the walls and Black Quirk Cold.
Oh, it doesn't anymore?
I don't think so. I haven't tried again recently.
Just hit misdirect before you cast it. And,
okay. Yeah, and pull the entire dungeon. Oh, it's fun.
I had some fun with what's the garden boss called? I think we already talked about this.
Yeah, I think so.
But knocking back ads into the people who are trying to run away. It was lots of fun. You can do it from so far away.
Oh, botanist? Yeah.
Yeah, botanist. Yeah. Good times.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell anybody I said that.
Just between you and the chat room, right?
Yeah. As long as it's only hunters who know, we're good to go.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no priests actually listen to the show, right? Sure. All right, you were saying? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. So they haven't really gotten into all the specifics of what's going to change. I mean, do any thoughts for like for Beast Mastery example? And someone in the chat room pointed out, Bendak, you wrote a very good article on your blog this week talking about BM and the fourth spec, meaning the shoulders, the impact that the shoulders has. So do you know what kind of changes that it would have for a piece like that moving forward?
I don't know what they can, like the shoulders, they can't really nerf it because it's binary, it's just an extra charge. So what I'd like to see them do is say, okay, the extra charge is baseline and we're just going to change the shoulders into something else entirely. But I don't think they're good. Maybe they'll do that, who knows, but I don't think they will. But I have a feeling that they're gonna change some of them. Knowing Blizzard, they never like when they do these changes like this, they never go like halfway. They seem to always go too far or not far enough. You know what I mean? Like I have a feeling they're gonna all of a sudden like the roots of Shaladra Solar can become like best in slot or something.
Right? It'll just heal some astronomical amount.
Well, they said they're gonna add. They might add throughput effects to it. Like they gave an example of one of them,
Mhm.
Balanced Druid Boots, that now also increases damage of certain spells. Like what if when you stand still with the roots, now it also increases damage of certain abilities or something?
Right.
You know,
And that
like
would, yeah.
because when they changed Pride as, now all these people use Pride as because of the raw
Mhm.
stats. So it might change up the what legendaries are best for each spec.
Right.
Yeah,
And that would
and then
be
you've got
interesting.
specs like Survival who are already, it's pretty even across. I mean, there's a couple that are best, but not best like BM has, one that's obviously by far the winner. So I'll be curious to see if Survival ends up with some that it'll be less balanced than it is now, because some are going to be buffed and see huge increases and others won't be changed.
Yeah, I think anytime you see these pieces of gear, especially the legendaries, start to impact your rotations and in how you play the spec, I mean, I would think that we'd have to be sort of a red flag in some fashion that, hey, maybe this is something that they would want to change and that they wouldn't want to do that. I mean, that's the kind of thing where, as you said, it would either make sense to be just baseline and incorporate into the spec, especially if it makes it really fun to play or not necessarily overpowered per se when you have it. Or it's also the kind of thing that you might expect to see as part of a set bonus, as part of a tier set, where those often do kind of affect how your rotations play out a little bit, and which makes a little more sense. I mean, I think it's better to have that as part of a tier set, because the likelihood that more players are going to have full set of tier gear and all the set bonuses is pretty high if you raid at all. No matter what you raid, even LFR, you're gonna probably walk away with at least a 4 set set of gear at some point. Whereas these legendaries, who knows? I mean, maybe if you play long enough, months down the road, you'll have everything. I mean, it just depends, right? The more you play, the more stuff you do, the higher your chance. But people play at different speeds and in different amounts of time that they may not. You have folks that just primarily raid, which is fine. But if they're not doing all these other things in between, they're it's going to take them a little bit longer to get some of these items.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you raid the entire patch or tier, and if you clear 2 difficulties, so you just do heroic and mythic or normal and heroic, plus you do 1 up to 15 mythic plus dungeon clear, you're getting a lot of chances.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't. The other ones have such lowered chances to get stuff, except for maybe LFR, which seems to get people a lot.
Telling you,
So I
it's
would
a secret to get legendaries is run LFR.
Yeah, you had mentioned that. Now I haven't been very good about running it. I mean, I probably will start doing it because I usually like to avoid the headaches
yeah, it's
of
still
LFR.
not worth it. I don't care
But
how many legendaries you get; it's not worth it to have to run LFR.
It's not that bad, honestly.
No, it's so bad. It's so horrible. Trying to kill Gul'dan, I just went into it for about 3 or 4 pulls.
Okay,
we had some
Gul'dan.
people ninja pulling, saying that let's just rack up our determination score, and other people not wanting to do that, and so they would just treat it like a regular pull, even though half the group wasn't ready.
Okay,
It was
Gul'dan, I'll give
miserable.
you that. I ran Gul'dan on a Tuesday, so it was filled with raiders who were just getting it done.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. Some of the other stuff, like Xavius, takes like 5 minutes. The second wing of Emerald Nightmare is like 15 minutes. I don't know. I'm
But
just
even-
saying, I got 2 of my legendaries from LFR.
Yeah. I've only done TOV Raid Finder twice now, and both times on Guarm, we was just miserable. Like, people couldn't figure out how to stand in the right fire color. It was just, and then so people just wouldn't stand in anything, and then the tanks would die, and everybody would die. It was quite the event. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I've sort of stayed away from LFR. at some point, like I've got my 4-piece set pieces, but I need to get like 1 or 2 more pieces just in case. Like I keep, I haven't had good luck with that. I've been letting other people in my guild get their 4 set pieces is primarily why, but I keep wanting to get, because like I said, my one legendary is the legs, which is fine, but I keep hopeful that if I ever get the shoulders or something like that, then I'll need another set piece to replace, because I have my shoulders as a set piece, so I need to get one of the other pieces that I can swap in there.
Yeah, I'm up to 5 heroic pieces and no mythic pieces, but it does help to have that 5th heroic, so I can swap out if I want to switch up my legendaries. And really, as MM, if I had legendaries I wanted to put in, I might just go to 2 set, because that 4 set's pretty bad. As SV, that's not the case, but it all works out. We did have a small bit of news in addition to this. I don't know if we wanted to cover or not. It's not. It doesn't really impact the game much, but I thought it was the stuff about Night Huntress Siren was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So these are new Hunter followers coming in 7.2, it looks like.
Yeah, for the order hall stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many people it ran into Night Huntress. I don't know if it's Cyrene or Siren, something like that. But she's been a mob in Suramar that was, while you were leveling at least, she was incredibly overpowered, and was basically like, what was the guy in when you first got to Outlands, the big machine guy?
Fell Reaver?
Yeah, it was. She was kind of
Reavers,
like
okay.
a Fell Reaver for the zone. Like she would chase you all the way across the zone. They did later on add a tether to her, so you could outrun her and she would reset. But for a while, she wouldn't reset inside of Suramar, so you were basically dead if you ran into her and didn't have, a tank spec or were pretty good at, using your pets and switching on and off and keeping her pet CC'd. But the other interesting part about her is, as a mob in Suramar, I don't know if she'll say this once she gets to the class hall, but she yells at you, "You have ruined your own lands, outsider. You will not ruin mine," which is a joke from EverQuest, which anybody who played MMOs before WoW probably played EverQuest. So that was just like, I don't know, a nice little shout out there for the hunters. Any old people playing?
No, I think, Allie, you played EverQuest, no?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was like one of the best memes. That, and I forget what the boss used to say, but yeah, that was, the orcs always used to yell that when you were attacking them in their homeland.
Yeah, so just a fun little bit. And then we also, we get new troops, like the, I don't know, way of the, I
Like
don't
the
know,
archers and the
archers
Pathfinders, right?
Yeah, those guys. So, and they're just Nightborn hunters, which is kind of cool that we get to. I did look through some of the other specs and to see what they were getting, or classes, whatever you call them, the support classes, and they weren't getting really themed stuff. So it's kind of fun that we get the Night Hunter stuff. If you don't mind dealing with elves.
Yeah, it's fine. Are they going to allow us to have any more active followers, or no?
I didn't check. I was reading up on all this, but didn't actually try logging in to see it. Bendak, do you know?
Yeah, we get one more active follower.
One more, okay, that helps.
And it looks like she had 3 slots for gear. Do our current people only have 2, don't they?
Right.
So I don't know if that's something special to her, or would they all get 3?
I'm not sure, because they get their second slot when they get upgraded to Epic.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they can upgrade to Legendary now. I don't know.
Yeah, so once they put this all on the current PTR, I guess we can figure all that out. Or just wait. It's not that important, I suppose.
It's nice. I mean, it's like I said, it's very much, Garrison light, I guess. I mean, I don't run missions all the time. I just use, the main ones, I'll do the occasional artifact power, but really it's just to get the runes and the ones for the raid quests are the ones that I
Yeah, that once a week.
consistently do. But although I am starting to take some time and level up some of the other followers that I got in the beginning. I just kind of deactivated them and forgot all about them, and so now I'm just throwing them out there.
Oh yeah, that might be a fun thing to do. I pretty much only do gold quests. It's like a quick 2,200 gold, which isn't too bad. There's usually one up, so log in once a day and do it.
Right. And then I've got the one follower that has the, what is the ability? It was nice. It was the one that basically grants 125 resources every time you do a gold quest and some
gold and some
on top of
resources.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I put those on Rexar for me, so I can always have Rexar following me around, which is just fun. I still feel a little uneasy about commanding Rexar around, but oh well. We'll have to get Matt Mercer on again sometime and see how he feels about being a follower.
But that works well. So you're out there survival, so you have your survival hunter with your survival hunter follower.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're all in melee, 2 pets and 2 hunters. And he actually has a lot better pathing than pets usually do. So they get around pretty well.
So another thing we've gotten here that I know that if we talked about it last week, probably was changes to artifact power and traits coming in 7.2 as well. So I remember one of the big things was the change to where they're getting rid of the well, maybe that's under relics as well. But yeah, that final order hall research was changing so that we weren't going to get no longer going to get the second trait on those relics. So they're getting rid of that.
So everybody really hoping to get an extra 2% dodge chance. You're out of luck. Sorry, VM hunters.
Yeah. And so I guess what it says, so instead of that, they're going to replace it with one that grants a chance for artifact power rewards from World Quest to be doubled. I don't know.
Which is pretty
It just
weak.
seems so underwhelming compared to what it was, to what they were initially offering.
And doesn't it cost like 20,000 to research?
30,000.
30,000. So you can get your artifact or order hall research back. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, I hope maybe that's just a placeholder and they'll change their minds on that. I don't know, but I agree. It's like just whatever.
It'd be a little better if it was a chance for any artifact power item to double.
Yeah.
Well, that would be good, sure. Especially some of those raid drops and things where 100,000, have it be 200,000. That would be nice.
I guess it depends on what the chance is too. If it's most of them are doubling, then that'll be nice. If it's 1 out of 10, that'll be horrible.
But maybe they'll change that. And I don't know if they just, what do they say? They just said they weren't happy with the way the second traits were working out. So I don't know if it was just a balancing issue or quite what it was. But
I know everybody was complaining about the RNG-ness. It's just so miserable to plan out in a raid. It's just not fun at all. So if their goal is for getting a gear reward to be fun, they were failing. Yeah,
RNG has its place in some of these games, and there's some places where it's okay, but I think it can be overused at times and not for the better. I think overall random is not, players just do not like RNG as a general rule.
Yeah, and it just would have made the power gaps even bigger than they already are. Like, imagine the difference between a BM hunter with 6 skill command traits than one who has none or 1 or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because at some point, right, until you get like the ultimate combination and the ultimate eye level, you're never done, right? You're always chasing an upgrade there.
Speaking of never done,
right? Yeah, that's kind of the new iteration.
Yeah.
The new infinite trait for artifacts. It's no longer like a flat damage increase. It's a proc. Concordance of the Legion fall.
Mm-hmm.
Increases your agility by 2,000 for 10 seconds. And then each point you put in adds another 200 agility to the proc. So here's the thing. There's 50 ranks of this, but it's not going to be possible to get them all. Because to max out your weapon, it costs 865 trillion artifact power. And I'm not joking, it's 865 trillion. Unless I counted the numbers wrong, someone else can recount them, but that number that I wrote there is 865 trillion, right?
Yeah,
I
that
believe
makes
so.
sense.
It's I'll take your word for it. It's a big number.
Yeah. So anyway, so the artifact knowledge is going up to ranked 50, and at rank 50, it's I don't know what is Blizzard in these numbers, but it's 55 million% increased artifact power. So, for example, a mythic raid boss token would reward you about 330 million artifact power,
Good time.
which is up from 150,000 today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're going to get to a point where you're just not going to care about artifact power.
There'll be that one guy in 2 years who maxes it all out
Mhm.
and gets his 15 minutes of fame.
I don't think it's possible. I think someone did the math on it. It's like it's really not possible. Like you'd have to run, I forget how many Mythic Pluses, but it was a lot every day
Yeah.
for like 5 years, and then you
And I mean,
max it out.
It takes a long time to get to that 50 artifact knowledge, right? Are they every 3 days, every 5 days?
I assume it's every 5 days, like it was for the other ones.
Yeah,
But then
so you
it'll
won't
be
get 30
catch
more
up.
for quite a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Are we at 25 or are we at 20 right now?
We're at 25.
We're at
Okay,
25.
so
yeah.
25 more, yeah.
But yeah, so to unlock the infinite trait, you just have to unlock your new 4-point trait, 1-point trait, and golden trait.
Mhm.
So it's not that many new traits to unlock. And you can add your existing 3 of 3. You can make them 4 of 4 if you want, but those are optional. You don't have to unlock those to unlock the concordance proc. So you don't really need to get that extra 2% dodge if you don't want it.
Mhm. Yeah, so basically what you just unlock the infinite and then whatever you get, I guess you just,
Yeah, and once you unlock that
buff
infinite,
it up
that's
as you
when
go.
when you unlock the infinite, that's when you unlock the thing to get Feathermanes for BM or a different mount color for the other specs. So you have to unlock flying and get the infinite trait, and then you unlock that stuff.
And I think I asked you this before, but I've forgotten already. The other traits still have to go up to 3 of 3, just not 4 of 4, or 3
Right.
of 4, I guess. If I wanted to do off-spec BM just to do the taming.
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just wait for the next expansion.
Yeah, but at that point, you're going to be getting 330 million to kill a boss. So you upgrade your BM weapon in 1 boss kill. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like anything I'm not putting into my main spec is wrong. And that's probably a problem in my thinking. It's a personal problem, but it's hard to get over that feeling of like anything I'm not doing to really improve my main spec when I could be is a mistake. I don't know. Maybe they have made it so unobtainable to get the top specs that it'll feel like you're finished even before you get to those. But
That's what it sounds like, right? I mean, it's an impossible goal to reach with that infinite trait. So at some point, it just becomes not worth it. You're.
But if you do finish it, you're getting an extra 12,000 agility on every proc. So come on, who doesn't want that?
But 5 years is what it was figured to do.
Yeah, 5 years,
That's
20
if you
mob
play.
souls every day.
Yeah, if you play hardcore for 5 years, then you might get it.
Everybody else will be on like 2 expansions from now. I'll still be trying to finish my artifact weapon.
Exactly. People are going to be doing that. Like every expansion, as the gear improves and the damage goes up, they'll be calculating that potential damage against like whatever current damage output to decide if it's that proc becomes worth it. Although your weapon damage will suck, but
right. Yeah, I don't think the proc will matter anymore either. Surely they're going to have to do another stat squish after this expansion, because they've been racking it up like crazy. I don't know how they got around the old was it who was the horde leader in Siege of Orgrimmar?
Garrosh?
Yeah, Garrosh. They said, or at least people talked about it. I don't know if it was true or not, but they said that the reason he had so many phases was they literally couldn't put in a high enough health that they wanted for him. I don't know how they got around that problem, or if they've fixed it now.
That problem is fixed, yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like we're at higher health than he was at. So I don't know when the squish is coming, but it seems like we need one.
Well, when did they do it last time?
It was after MOP, right?
Was it for Warlords of Draenor is when they did the stat squish, or was it for MOP?
Yeah, I think it was for Warlords of Draenor, but like the pre-patch in MOP, yeah.
So I mean, that was just one expansion ago. I don't know how much they squished it, but it it felt like it went down a fair bit.
It did, but already we're able to solo old content, like last expansion's content. So it's clearly in need of a revamp again. They really didn't do a very good job of it, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they accounted for how much they were adding with the artifact weapon. Like the DPS or just throughput increases were insane because of how the legendaries and artifact weapon kind of multiplied together, even with the loss of exponential secondary stat scaling. Those were fun words to throw together.
But it's a trade-off too, right? Because on the one hand, it's some of those big numbers are fun to see, especially when when it comes to like damage output that you're doing. Everyone likes to see those giant numbers, but as you can say,
they just feel meaningless to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel like, wow, I did 2 million DPS for 10 seconds or 4 million DPS for 10 seconds. I just feel like it's meaningless because I can't grasp what 4 million is. And it doesn't look like ads are dying any faster, so meh.
That's kind of how that's kind of how I judge it, is how easily can I kill something?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that good of a hunter. You guys know that. And it surprises me how easily I can kill some things. And it feels nice, but it also feels like way wrong.
Yeah, I always thought, I don't know how many people were Skyrim fans. I assume pretty much everybody played Skyrim. But I often thought it was, it was kind of a common complaint too, I think, that a wolf that could, was killing you at level 1 was still magically super powerful when you were at level 20, and it just scaled up with you to make the world seem so static. I kind of run into that same problem with WoW now.
WoW hasn't quite taken it to that degree, though, right? I mean, as
we're talking about it though, about scaling the old world, and a lot of people are for it, and I'm not, but a lot of people are, and they kind of see that it's all been an experiment to see if they can do it in the future, and then maybe retroactively as well, so that there's always content no matter where you go. But we'll see.
It's like it's definitely a trade-off, and I know other games have tried that. Star Wars: The Old Republic has done that, and I don't know that they pulled it off as well as you think, because stuff is still very easy to kill there as you're leveling up, even though you're being squished and things are supposed to be kept more on an even keel. But I don't know that it's quite worked out. And some people don't like being max level and, as you say, going into that level 10 zone and having to fight things, and not just one shot everything that's there because they're you're super powerful now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just makes the idea of levels seem fairly meaningless.
Yes, it does.
Which maybe that's okay. Maybe we should do away with levels. We're at level 110. It's pretty ridiculous, anyways. I mean, by most games standards, this is just an obscene number of levels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know does SWTOR have levels?
They do have levels, but people have mentioned that there too, as well as it's like, well, are they? What's the point of them? Why is this needed if I'm going to go? And they've scaled a lot of their content to be done at not at any level, but certainly at max level. I mean, they have other issues, which is to say they take a lot of all of their existing raid content that they've had since the beginning of the game can be run at max level. It's made to be still current, which there are enough people in there that will go back and run those old raids. But I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I know Ali's level experiment she talked about a few weeks ago with Naxxramas withstanding, but can you imagine having to go back and like Siege of Orgrimmar or some of those other raids to gear up and just have that be this constant form of end game content meant to be current? I think people would lose their minds here if that were the case, and if it came at the expense of, say, introducing newer stuff that we're getting, some of the new raids.
Well, I mean, the current thing with time walking seems okay. Like it feels.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like it's welcome to change it out every week.
And that's a little different. Like they do that on a limited basis, right? I mean, it comes out, every few weeks, a set of dungeons you'll be able to go back and do it, and it's kind of got that nostalgic feel. And yeah. I don't think anything is wrong with that. But if those were meant to be like, hey, in patch 7.3, we're gonna make Mists of Pandaria dungeons doable at max level, and that's where you're gonna go to whatever, get 7.3 stuff to raid. I don't think people would enjoy that very much.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed the time walking dungeons, including the Mists of Pandaria ones, which are the newest ones I think they've added. And it's still lots of fun. Although part of why I like it is because I still have a lot of gear that's kind of custom for those areas that make me overpowered, while most people are just wearing the regular gear. So maybe that's, I don't know, kind of cheap to some extent, but.
And they disabled the old set bonuses for those things too, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But gems still work, and old legend, the legendary cape and the legendary ring still works.
Yeah, and trinkets too, I imagine, would still be viable in those situations.
Yeah, whatever
as well.
Was it just last expansion where we had the trinket that created 4 of us that spun around?
Oh yeah.
So that still works, which is just tears up dungeons where you have tons of ads. So it's great. Yeah, and I think the legendary cloak especially just does tons of AoE damage. So if you get a decent tank who will pull a lot, or if you have a pet you can rely on.
So, but yeah, so I think time walking is a good use of that kind of feature, where you can kind of squish the players down, and so you can make that some of those things challenging as you go through them. Yeah, well, someone's typing in Skype chat here. Oh, it's Delirium. Yeah, I don't know what else do we. I don't think we have any other news today, or what else we have going on.
Yeah, I think that's most of the Hunter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they haven't announced anything yet on 7.2, as far as I know. So we don't know how close that is to coming out.
Did any of you participate in that
Nami
thing they had?
No, I didn't have a chance to do that.
For it.
Did you? How was it? I saw some screenshots and things people posted. That looks like that was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, it was a neat idea. It was. I did have some fun, but I mean, you couldn't really do much. It wasn't really meaningful. It was just being silly for a while.
Yeah, I saw a lot of
So,
screenshots of Nomi walking around like the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. And
yeah, they
Darn.
added a bunch of they like really went in and added raid mechanics to him, like he was a world
Did
boss.
they?
So, yeah, so yeah, something that was. I mean, I couldn't really tell what was going on. I did get random invited to a raid group and joined it. I didn't, but it wasn't really an organized raid group or anything. Just filled up with 40 people like instantly, and there must have been a few hundred people in Dalaran right there, at least, maybe more than that. I have no idea. But there was something he did that made like it blackened all of the like ground around you. It's like it looked like he was just
Defile.
burning everything.
He had Defile and he had like an AE fire thing. I forget the
Yeah.
name of it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was
Dreadlord
funny.
know me.
I think
I kind of wish in hindsight I had tried to participate in that because it does look like it was a lot of fun, but I had other stuff to be doing. But I hope that they kind of do silly things like that every now and then.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, it seemed pretty popular. I wonder if they'll add a Nami world boss kind of idea later on, because it's been such a meme, this whole expansion.
Does he have sound files or anything?
Yeah, he says stuff.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know if they're just regular Panda stuff or not. Now that
I was gonna say, I don't think he does anything. I don't know if he does anything unique. I kind of like a lot of people. I just sort of got fed up with him and kind of stopped dealing with him pretty early on.
Huh. Yeah, so I've had terrible legendary luck, but I've had great luck with Nami.
Have you?
Yeah, so I've got all of the 375 food at 3 stars, and I think pretty much everything at 3 stars except for some of the stuff that you would never make anyways. Like the little, I don't know, flavor food. Maybe I'll finish that sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I kind of have news, but not really. But another podcast I listened to was the not treating hunter lore as with the depth and appreciation that I tend to appreciate. So I wrote them an email explaining the history of hunters in Warcraft, and it was quite long. And I'm trying to find it so I can remember which podcast I sent it to. And I can't find it, but somewhere out there this week, there is a podcast that has the history of hunters, and they promised to read it. So
Sounds good. What were they saying that you disagreed with?
oh, they just don't like hunters. Don't feel that they're like as good as druids or as versatile as druids or things like that. They can't tank and stuff like that. It was
Wow.
just kind of like tongue-in-cheek kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff
Gotcha.
that hunters, that non-hunters think about hunters. It
I'll
wasn't
tell you what,
or anything like that, or I wouldn't have written to them. But
Yeah,
You should
well,
have just sent them Frost Times 50 reasons hunters are awesome.
yeah.
but you know me, I'm the lore person, so
Well, even if they read it on theirs or they don't, maybe next week we'll have you read it on ours, because it might be interesting for our folks to hear. I bet I've learned a thing or two from it. Because I'm not all that familiar with the hunters, at least not back from the original Warcraft. I mean, I know them mainly from World of Warcraft.
well, if
Yeah.
I find the email, I will post it into the show notes for you.
Sounds good.
Cool. Well, on that, it is 5 o'clock, so we don't have any other topics for this week. So why don't we go ahead and just close this one out, and then I don't know. So Cynth, you said you're not available on the 26th, correct?
Yeah, I'm not.
So we'll get together.
Hey, you guys are welcome to record it. It's not. I don't have the monopoly on recording here. So
No. You just have all the cool toys to do it. So
It's the summoning stone.
So we'll talk offline. Maybe we'll see if we can do it. I mean, I think I've done it in the past. I just got to find my notes and remember how I set things up here to actually get it recorded, because I think Cynth, you have some actual hardware or something to do it. I've got like these virtual audio cables, which are fun.
Yeah, I don't know. There hasn't been a lost show in a long time. Maybe
No.
maybe we should just not record one.
All right, well, we'll figure that out. But on that note, you have been listening to episode 256 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darbkrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from thrillofthewild.com and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast Blizzard Watch and Bendak Wow on Twitter.
All right, you can check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or add our RSS feed to your reader, and all these links will be available in the show notes.
If you have a question or a topic you would like us to discuss on the show, email us at huntingpartypodcast@gmail.com or send us a tweet at huntingpartypod.
All right, stay thirsty, my friends. Remember to drink your dark blue lager.
Keep us alive.
Keep your eyes on the beast.
Let Dark Lady watch over you.
A life stealer, that's just the cost of being awesome sauce. I'm a dues payer, a boss slayer. I rock out with my lockout Viper to cheetah to dragon hawk. No time to waste, cause I can jump shot. EM, MM, and SV. I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my traps. I never miss, cause I am hit capped. Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. I'll top the meters every fight. Raiding in a cave, dealing death. Just me, my gun, and my trusty bed. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros,